Hey friends, full moon in Gemini happening tomorrow as I'm recording this. Release the mental overload. That's what I'm calling this one. That's the theme of this full moon. It's happening in Gemini. It's got some interesting aspects connected to it that have to do with your future, your destiny, something like a karmic reckoning point or choice point that it's time to decide. And there's a whole lot of releasing mental struggle, chatter, beliefs, stuff like that going on. So let's dive into this. I'm recording this on Wednesday, December 3rd in my time zone, which is Lima, Peru. And I wanted to get this one up at least a day early because you may be feeling, if you're watching this day before the full moon, December 4th-ish, depending on time zone, you may be feeling the mental chatter overload stuff build, maybe even anxiety. Here's what's up. This full moon in Gemini is happening on the Gemini and Sagittarius polarity. So Gemini is meeting up with Sagittarius. Every full moon, we go through this cycle, right? In the new moon, the unconscious and the conscious are lined up together. And that's why it's a really powerful time to set intentions because your unconscious and your conscious self are in line. They're seeing things the same way. So we set intentions on the new moon traditionally. Quarter moon is when they may be tested a bit or challenged. And when we get around to the full moon, that's when there is both some kind of a harvest of whatever you have put into intention in this lunar cycle, and also a release of what you don't need, release of what it's time to let go of. So I want to invite you to think about this process as we move into the full moon tomorrow, because going back to today, December 3rd, it's a pretty mentally active day, and there might be a lot going on that I want to just invite you to tune into and feel what's happening for you. And if there is like an overload of energy starting to build up, and if it's okay to stay with that and be with that, this is going to be a really powerful moment to move through and release a whole lot of old mental stuff, including beliefs you don't need anymore, including outdated stuff you've been holding, ideas you've been carrying that are not aligned with the next version of you that you are creating, which we'll talk about in a minute because North and South Node. But back to today. It's a mentally active day. There's a lot of activity going on today that might include some things like potential power struggles, even, or frustration or aggravation. Also, some surprises from Uranus. I won't go into all the aspects of today. I want to stay focused on the full moon, but it's a pretty active day today. So, depending how this hits your chart, you may have a lot of energy building up. I want to invite you to just tune into that, maybe even do a bit of journaling or talking it out in some way that's helpful, but especially tuning into the energy underneath and to what's happening in your body as you're moving through the next 2 days, because again, there's a big energy release that wants to happen. So again, we've got this cycle every month of the new moon intentions, quarter moon, the full moon, which is a moment when we release. It's like a natural in-breath, out-breath. And it's also such a powerful way to connect to just that reminder that you are the energy that the universe is made up of. I mean, when these full and new moons affect us like they do, and if you're here, you're likely someone who feels it and feels in your body when the moon is building and feels the like all the energy of that. I want to invite you to let that be a reminder too of the power of all of creation and life force energy that is moving these planetary cycles, that is what you are. So if things get intense in these couple days or any time, let yourself return to that. And I'm going to invite you right now to let yourself just return to your body and return to your breath if that feels okay and accessible for you. And feel your seat and just let yourself drop in to this moment here. Notice how you are and allow yourself to hold and feel whatever energy is moving through you. So, this full moon happening in Gemini, which is the land of the mind. That means lots of ideas, lots of mental stimulation, lots of interesting things to learn. Again, it's a great one for journaling because Gemini rules writing and thought processing through ideas. So, the first question I'm going to give you for this full moon, first question I'm going to give you is what beliefs, energy, or mental stuff am I ready to release? We'll go into the how in a moment, but just take a moment with that. And if there's any chatter or mental clutter, maybe allow yourself to let the breath drop in. Once again, feel the seat and just notice what beliefs or energy or mental stuff am I ready and willing to release? You might want to do some journaling on this. Here's more. This polarity, again, between Sagittarius and Gemini. So the moon is in Gemini. That means the sun is opposite in Sagittarius, is all about the tension between knowing all of the things and almost like chasing all the knowledge and, oh my gosh, I have to think of everything and get all the ideas and track it all down versus standing clearly in your truth. And the truth is we actually need both parts of that polarity, right? We need like all of the learning active, I want to learn all the things activity. And at the end of the day, we need to know here's what I believe, here's what I choose, here's what I'm creating. And that's Sagittarius energy. Sag says, I know what I stand for, and this is who I am, and I'm sticking with it. So, like all polarities we work with in astrology, this isn't about right and wrong, but this is an invitation to integrate whatever is out of balance in the equation of standing in my truth versus gathering all the details. So if you've been getting lost in the details or the mental overload or trying to do too many things, this is a moment to allow a breath to drop in, call your energy back, and release what mental chatter and overload doesn't serve you. On the other hand, if you need some details attended to, maybe you're being called to actually do all of the nitty-gritty research to support your proposal or flesh out your plans or fill out the ideas that you are exploring, this full moon will highlight that for you. So I want to invite you to notice before we go on to Vulcan and the north-south nodes, which takes this all to like even much higher levels or more crucial levels, just take a second to notice for yourself where you're landing in the polarity between all of the details, all the learning, all the interesting things versus here's what I know, here's what I believe. Are you landing too much in here's what I know? And do you need to be more open to another perspective? Or are you always open to all the perspectives and it's time to take a stand? This is a full moon to release something in that equation for you. And it's going to be your guidance telling you what that looks like and what piece of that equation is ready to release. If you want to let me know in the comments, I would love to hear. Drop a note and let me know if there's something you are releasing or claiming or landing in this spectrum of all the ideas, learning all the things, hearing all the perspectives, versus here is my clarity, here is my truth. Where are you landing? What are you refining? And speaking of refining, let's move into the next aspect of this full moon, which is that it is opposite Vulcan. The sun is conjunct Vulcan, which is a more esoteric planet. You won't find it in a lot of readings and charts, but it's all about soul forging and refinement and inner craftsmanship. It's the image is like the forging the hammer in the fire. So the Sun Vulcan combo burns off anything extraneous so your true purpose can stand. Can you see how this ties into this full moon of clarity and purpose around your ideas and your thoughts and your beliefs? It's like we're being refined in the fire, asked to burn off, release, let go of whatever doesn't serve you so that you can be clearly connected to your truth, to what you know, to what you know that you know that you know. That's what this full moon is about. Why is this so important? Because the third significant feature of this full moon is that it's in a direct square with the north and south nodes. North and south nodes represent destiny, where you're headed, and the past, what you're releasing. So you could look at this as like a karmic crossroads. And depending how this full moon hits your chart, it might be quite a significant turning point moment. I'd also love to know in the comments if you have anything like that going on that's like kind of a karmic, like, all right, this is it, time to make a decision. And because the moon is hitting these north-south nodes in a square, it's pretty strong. It's pretty intense. It's like something is required or demanded that you perhaps meet a situation or, again, an old belief. There might be something coming up that it's like, all right, this is it. This is time to let it go. So, how do you know? Notice what's up for you right now. Notice if there has been what's been happening in your consciousness and your experience that feels like some kind of a challenging meeting. This could be with another person, it could be with a situation, it could be with just like how you're moving through your life in general. But if something feels like a challenging moment right now, like a square, like, what do you do here? Pause and notice that. And I want to invite you to notice these threads, these pieces of the Gemini moon, all of the ideas, all the mental stuff asking you to release what doesn't serve you in a square, which is a challenging, confronting meetup with your destiny, with what you're releasing from the past and what you are moving forward into the future. So there's some kind of a meeting point here. That often means old patterns get loud. And for this full moon, that might look like old thought loops or communication habits or defense mechanisms or even nervous system imprints that are coming up to be released. And basically, this north-south node destiny activating moment is telling you you can't straddle the fence anymore. It's time to go. So whatever you are meeting, whatever is coming forward for you, this is your calling. This is the time to release what is not serving you. And again, that's likely having something to do with thoughts or beliefs or ideas. And it's asking you to release that so you can move forward. So, old mental patterns might look like scattering and splitting your energy, taking in too much information. Old survival-based communication patterns. Are there fawning communication patterns that are your typical ways of being in the world? Is there something beneath that wants to be healed, that wants to be released so you can communicate clearly and directly? Notice how you're feeling right now. I'm going to invite you to notice even what you're aware of in your body as we've been talking about this, because your nervous system will always tell the truth. And I'll invite you right now to just take a moment, if it feels okay, to be with whatever's happening. As this full moon approaches, or if it's already happened when you watch this, it's still just as potent. Allow yourself to notice whatever is present is rising up for you right now. Allow yourself to notice the body experience and whatever sensations may be happening. And you can feel your seat and feel your breath And if you want to wrap yourself in a self hug or move your body or shake or do anything to support yourself in this process, you can do that. Whatever helps you to stay with yourself as you allow all of the old energy to rise. Because the key to letting it release is allowing it to bubble up, to safely be felt, and to be able to be released. So let me invite you to take, or I'm going to say allow rather than take, a couple of breaths here. I'd rather you not try to force deep breaths, but just notice your breath right now and see if your body wants to take a deeper or different breath. And I'll invite you to sink into the intention if this resonates. I am ready to release whatever mental patterns, beliefs, thoughts, and energy patterns are no longer serving me. I'm ready to release whatever old imprints I have been holding that have been standing in the way of me fully and completely living my soul's path and everything I'm here to do. I'm ready to step into that now. I'm ready to activate that now with this full moon. And allow yourself to breathe that in and celebrate yourself as you move into the rest of this lunar cycle, knowing you've just consciously aligned with the power of the universe that you are made of, that is part of you. Know that your path requires coherence. This Vulcan north-south node combo is asking you to be fully aligned, to be fully in tune with who you are, to not, again, not straddle the fence or hold back or sidestep it anymore. This is a powerful lead into 2026 because 2026 is all about the energy of very boldly and loudly and clearly living your purpose and truth. We'll be talking lots more about that. Please make sure and subscribe and follow and stay in touch if you have not already. And we'll be going into all kinds of very powerful activated energy coming soon. Sending you tons of love on this full moon. Let me know how it's landing for you, what you're feeling in your body. I'll invite you to do any kind of movement as we complete this that feels right for you. Let it arise spontaneously, organically from what your body needs. And again, you also may want to do some writing for this full moon. Processing mentally and verbally is going to be really effective and really powerful as a piece of moving all of this through. Sending you tons of love. Talk soon. Take care.